walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Nightmares creep suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Yeah. jack it up. open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me. So alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me.
Alrighty, I think it's about time we.
And for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Holy shit, we got a good turnout.
Alright,
All
I'm
right.
gonna switch over about now.
Hello, hello.
Oh, we're here. Well,
Hey, man.
at least there's a few of us.
Ajax is classically late.
As you do.
Yeah. To answer your question, Darrow, I am streaming currently. Clockwork, it is pinned. Yep, and we're just gonna wait on Ajax to join us
Heyo.
here. Oh, there's Io.
What's up?
Greetings.
Okay, I think Ajax is doing this on purpose now. I wouldn't be
Fashionably
surprised.
late.
Yeah, he's doing his fashionable late entrance. But we. Oh, yeah, good. Thank you for posting the stream. It's Chris. Yeah, everyone
It's
check
always
out the
good
stream.
state of the server when you're scrolling down, but you can't fit all the names in the voice chat.
Love that. That's always fun. I think we have, a few new names in here since last time. Welcome, new people. Welcome, old people. Tyr is hosting the stream.
Yes.
So if something goes wrong, it's his fault.
Yeah, you guys can all
Precisely.
yell at Tyr. For those of you that have not had a chance to fill out the survey, if you wouldn't mind, it is super informative and helpful for us. Bork just posted it in the state of the server. The How Did You Find Atlas 3.0. Just helps us figure out, like, where we're getting players, what features of the server players like the most, what they don't like, all those sorts of fun things. 1.0 and 2.0 existed at the last two state of the servers.
Yep.
So we pretty much
More or
do.
less.
We'll release one usually with every state of the server just to kind of get a, obviously our player base changes every few months, so always want to get a
We're
read
just looking
on.
for general demographics.
Yeah, exactly.
Just before we go any further, how is the kind of sound of the stream, everything, for those of you that have the stream open? If you could check, let me know if things look good. Oh, that's
Oh
right.
yeah, someone mentioned too that it still has our version listed as 112 too.
Yeah, that's a thing that I will fix sometime here in
Okay.
the future. What's the date today again?
The 12th.
July 12th.
7/12.
Yeah, someone is able to link the stream again if they have it handy. Otherwise, I will. Oh, thank you, Epic.
There we go. That should be fixed. Thank you, Totem.
T, I saw that 1d10 roll. Leaving it up to RN Jesus.
Know it. Also, it just gives me a reason to use my my dice more often.
Yeah, well, that's understandable.
Dara, the answer is yes. We suggest it.
As you may know, most of the elders are either wasted when they show up, or most partway through the state of the server.
We're drinking during them.
Very true, very true. Same thing happens during weekly dev meetings.
And staff meetings, and creative meetings, and programmer meetings. For
Basically,
those of you that don't know, we have
Especially
5
programmers.
meetings throughout the week, so,
Oh,
basically
it's
one every
miserable.
work day.
It's miserable.
Hey, but we're having fun doing it. All right.
But we are having fun, that's all that matters.
All right.
T hesitates.
Ajax is 6 minutes late.
Alright,
see if-
tell him to
Let's see if
tell him
we
to get in here.
let's see if we can get him to 10 minutes. Current bet is 1,000 gems that he shows up at 10 minutes.
Who are you
Placing
betting
that
against?
bet? Yeah.
I'm making that bet.
I would take that bet, but I'm not sure if Messil has 1,000 gems. Might have bought too much booze.
Taryn will take the bet, but only if he wins.
Yes.
Clock dev server's
That's
fixed, by the way.
correct.
Yeah.
I posted in Builders chat like 2 days ago.
Looks like somebody hasn't been paying attention. Hmm.
Somebody doesn't pay attention to my annoying pings. Yeah, it's back up though. We just had to move it to. It's at the same IP, but we had to fix the actual physical server. But it's back. Yeah, Digger, I don't suggest that one. Pace
9
yourself.
shots. Well, the question is, what are we taking a shot of? Because, I mean, you could go
Tequila.
tequila with, like, 20% alcohol, or you could go
Oh,
with,
God.
like, tequila with 40% alcohol.
I hit my tequila max in college, I think.
What was your max?
4 years of college.
All right.
Oh, he's here!
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that hasn't been
Tyrion
yet.
loses the bet.
Pay me
Messil
my
already
money.
wins.
Everybody cash in
Damn
their
it.
bets.
Pay me my money!
Yep.
I apologize for how late I am.
It's all up to the 1v10.
It's I just can't help it. It's just a part of life.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Oh, so thank you everyone for being here. It's man, we got a hell of attendance. It's nearly probably more than 40 people in this chat at this moment. That's pretty impressive. Okay, well, so so we normally start this out with promotions, but we're gonna mix things up. As a matter of fact, I already messed up the way I was supposed to enter the chat, as I told all the admins. So I'm just gonna dive into that right now. They're all
You
laughing.
ruined it!
God, I ruined all of it. Alright, here we go. The Vantian Goddess of War blesses you with her strength, increasing the melee damage of all nation members. That is Relic Reveal number 1, the Might of Shiraxis. We will be going through all of them as we get through State of the Server. So, if that interests you, it'll be available tomorrow.
Yeah, for
Oh,
those
boy.
of you that are worried that you will miss these or won't remember the things that we say, once State of the Server is over, we will post the full list of all these, but you'll get them in real time.
Everything's going to be posted. We're not going to try and
Yes,
disadvantage
relics,
anybody who
they'll be
couldn't
on
show up.
They'll be on the website. There'll also be a forum post about them with all
Yep.
the relic powers as well.
But if you want to find out about them first here, well, then you're in the right place. We will reveal them slowly. Just going to go down the list. They're all meant to be fairly similarly powered. We will be making adjustments if necessary, so if anything seems off to you, don't freak out on us. We're trying our best. But anyway, we're going to mix things up a little bit more, and instead of diving straight into promotions, we're going to start off with something that a lot of you are probably sick of hearing, but it's more for the benefit for the new players among us who haven't heard it yet. It's the history of why Atlas is where it is right now and why we exist at all. And so, here we go. I'm sorry for all of you who've already heard this story a million times, but I promise it won't take long. Atlas is a server that was born from the idea of, man, why are there so many cool servers that just screw up one too many things to be cool? Atlas was founded on the idea of taking all the cool parts of the servers that we'd played on and bringing them to one place. And it started off with a majority of our original devs, as a matter of fact, basically all of the elders, being in a similar server, just with a few worse ideas, a few worse things that were happening. And we said, screw it, we can do it better. And that's what we set off to do. Up to you guys to judge if we accomplish that goal or not. But at the end of the day, that was the goal. And we are always striving towards that goal. We want to be the server that's always just a slight step above where we came from and the many places we came from. But anyway, after that decision, we created a Discord channel. And that Discord channel, we look back on it, it was October 2016, right? Was that the original founding date? Or was that too early? Is it?
Yep, October 30th, 2016.
There you go. That is the time when the original devs for Atlas started to come together to form what is now this chat where everyone is. You guys are Atlas. Like, there might be a lot of code and stuff, but it wouldn't mean anything if you guys weren't here. So we do thank you all for being here. It's awesome to see that decision made nearly 3 years ago. Not entirely, but nearly 3 years ago. It has ended in this. This is everything we could have dreamed of. But yeah, so 3 years ago, we said, let's make a server. We started discussing mechanics, figuring everything out. We eventually found some Aussie developers who have made us quite some cool plugins since then. Interesting note, did you guys know that Atlas was originally going to use Townie? As a matter of fact, one of the first plugins written for Atlas was the town level system. It was scrapped almost immediately, and it was 100% compatible with Townie. It ended up being entirely reworked to work with our custom nation system, brought to us by Mars and Makis, who, I think it's worth mentioning, are currently asleep because they were up till 2 or 3 in the morning helping us test and work on sieges. Yep. So shout out to Mars and Makis for their amazingly hard work.
Oh.
What's that?
Discord
What
is
happened?
dying.
Discord just died right there.
Wow, that was a hiccup.
Who keeps dragging me around? What's going on?
Discord is.
Alright,
Oh,
but yeah,
God, it's
so
a
we started
132 name.
Alpha, and at the time, Alpha was called Beta, because we thought that Alpha would be Beta. But it turns out when we launched Alpha with our spoken word magic, our precursor to Bet and Quest, and a whole bunch of other stuff,
Ugh.
it was a shadow of what we thought Atlas could be. And many of the people, a few of them are still in this chat, who have been here since Alpha, could tell you the same. It was good, but it's like, it wasn't quite there. Who can't hear me? Anybody can't hear me?
Huh?
Raise
I
your
can hear
hands.
you.
Yeah.
Just raise your volume. I'm one of the only ones talking. You can also click on me specifically and raise my volume. That helps a lot. Use
You
your
can put
volume.
priority speaker on as well.
Yeah. Yeah, rejoin if you can't hear shit. So sorry for those that Discord's shitting on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Oh, God.
Alpha went on for multiple months until we realized that many things needed to be rewritten. And so it happened. We called the first dev period of Atlas, where we said we're going to reset the map, we're actually going to bring down the main server, and we're going to keep redeveloping and fixing a lot of the problems with Atlas. This is where things like tannery and angling and a whole bunch of other things came to play and were added to Atlas. We also added our new magic system. We redid the entire quest system. We did so much stuff to change it, and when we launched, it felt way better. It was much more what Atlas was supposed to be. But as many as you know, that also came to an end. What was called sort of beta became real beta after we realized that there were some big problems that we couldn't address. Things like world regeneration, the update to 1.13, some community problems that we needed to address. And so we shut down the server for a final and last time. And we ended up staying in development until March 23rd of this year. That's the correct date, right? I'm not crazy. Anybody?
March 23rd, yeah.
March 23rd.
Yep.
And so with that, we marked the last dev period for Atlas. We are never going to go into dev again. We have enough tools to fix any problems that come up, and we are significantly happier with the final product that we have right now.
Mhm.
And so for, a little under 4 months now, Atlas has been going on its final iteration that will be self-sustaining and work properly the way we want it to. And
Yeah.
it's been awesome. We've had a great time. We definitely had some problems at the beginning with players having TPS as low as literally 5 and having there were serious problems at first. We ended up switching to a better machine, getting rid of those issues. fixing a lot of problems along the way, like NPCs lagging out the server, but it's all led us up to right now. And frankly, we are incredibly excited to launch the biggest thing to happen since the launch of Atlas, and that is Siege. And with that, right before we launch into promotions, before we go to talk about Sieges, let's do another reading.
Yeah.
Let me go look up that list because it's in a different channel. The Mother Tree blesses you with her sure sight. I can't read. I can't read.
You are fired.
She increases the range damage of all nation members. I know that's not too exciting. I know it's very much like the last one. But we expect these two relics to be pretty damn popular. And to be fought over a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Those
there you
ones
go.
specifically. Yeah.
Those
I think
are
those
the
will be
two.
exciting.
Are those the? I would say that those are probably the two most PvP specifically focused ones that we released.
That and the next one, I think, are
Probably,
definitely the PvP most focused. But specifically those two, I think the sort of PvP heavy nations will probably fight the most over, I would say.
Probably. And remember, guys, we will fix these if they're too powerful, too underpowered. The goal is to have all the relics feel absolutely worth getting, worth the risk of picking up. Hopefully a lot of you have read the Siege stuff. We will talk about that a little bit more in the future. Anyway, it's on to promotions. Promotions are a great part of the server. And this promotion ceremony, we're actually looking forward to a lot. I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting than the past one. We've had a few more promotions. We've had a few more things going on. So let's go ahead and dive into this list.
Now, Ajax, before you go anywhere, I will ask you to go kind of slowly so that I can get all of them typed in and everywhere.
Okay.
So both on the server and on the stream. Yeah, we can get both of those on there.
Hold on. Are you... I can grab the ones from the server. Oh, you're not talking about it.
Yeah, so...
He's on the stream, for everyone who's watching the stream.
So I want to get both of those kind of out there, but it just takes some time to kind of either copy or type in, so...
Gotcha. Apparently, Ajax, there are still a couple players who can't
Yeah, Ajax,
hear
can
you
leave and rejoin? Just to see?
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and leave and rejoin.
Yeah, leave and rejoin. Just a quick caveat for as we dive into promotions here. So we'll start with keepers. For new players, just to give you kind of a quick, Does
that help anybody?
Yeah, can you guys hear Ajax now?
Test. Can people hear me?
We'll assume the best.
We'll assume the best.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Just to give you guys a quick rundown on what the positions mean that we're about to announce for new players who don't know. We'll start with keeper. Keeper isn't really a staff position. Keeper is a title that we give to players who have been around and active on the server essentially since the last date of the server. So we'll announce a bunch of keepers. Those are players, who have been fairly active, regularly active on the server for the last 2 months since our last state of the server meeting like this. Next up will be vanguards, which are specifically, again, not a staff position, where they have responsibilities, but it's more of a title that we give to players that have specifically been a really good effect on the community. They're really helpful with new players. They answer questions. They, are clearly very supportive of the server and kind of have a positive attitude in chats and all that. So, just to kind of give those players a shout out and let them know that we appreciate everything they do. For Atlas, that is the vanguard position. And it's also kind of the jumping off point for our first staff position, which is Warden. I'm sure you guys have talked to a Warden before. They're the gold names in chat. Wardens are our chat mods. They're the one that make sure no one's, a racist asshole in our in our general chats, and stuff stays kind of positive overall for the server. And then, of course, our current highest staff rank, which is Sentinel. Sentinels are the ones that will, have the commands and such to help players out of binds. They can fix bugs. We'll get into this a little bit later, but we have a new staff plugin that we've been working on as well for our staff, where they'll actually be able to, fix mechanical bugs that player encounter and not have to just tell them that they've let an elder know, and an elder will fix it. We're kind of giving staff a little more functionality to be able to fix bugs and address player concerns and questions and things like that. So that's just a quick rundown of our staff positions as we announce all of the players we're about to promote to all 4 of those ranks.
Awesome.
On
All right,
top
and
of
so
that,
with
wait.
go for it.
I want to say one more thing just before we get started. There
Darn it.
is a lot of people that are getting promoted as both keepers and vanguards tonight. We will be trying to update your roles as fast as possible. I know Bork has already said something, and Digger's also said something, and we also need to update roles on the server as well. So if we can't get to you tonight, let us know over the weekend, and we will make sure to get your roles and stuff updated, because like I said, there's a lot of you and a lot going on during sits of the server, so we can't reach everyone. We don't hate you, it's just we didn't have time to get to you.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, so it is officially time to jump into this list of people who have been around since the last day of the server. Now, it's possible, I don't think it's the case, but it's possible that people haven't been around at the state of the server. We kind of judge it basically on 2 months worth of activity, and I think it's been a little bit over 2 months since the last day of the server. So if you joined like the day after state of the server, you might get a promotion. Just don't tell us you weren't here for the last day of the server. Anyway, jumping to this list, we're not going to say too much about all the keepers, because as much as we love you guys, there's a
lot of you.
It would absolutely make everyone say, get on with it already.
Yeah.
So we're just going to dive right in. Our first keeper is Metal Gear. And it's always going to have an awkward silence between each one as we wait for Tyr to update it on the stream as well. So just stick with us. If it's awkward, yeah, we know. All right, Tyr, you good?
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Congratulations to Skipper. I think he might be asleep. He sounded like he wasn't going to be able to make it. Is he in the Discord chat here? Yeah, I think he went to sleep. All right. On to the next one. Congratulations to the Online World. It's a pretty meta name.
Yeah. Is he here?
I don't know if he's here.
I don't think he is. No.
All right.
Oh well.
Move on to the next one here. Congratulations to it's Jordy. Slowly making our way through. Yeah, I had a feeling I might do it. All right, next one down the list. Congrats to Little Deer. Little Deer here? Yeah, I thought Little Deer was here. Congrats, Little Deer. Okay, gonna keep going. Just let me know if I'm going too fast here. Just gonna keep going.
You're good.
And also, I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. I say that because this next one I may mispronounce. Congratulations to Haluith. Please feel free to yell at me if I did that wrong. All right, continue down the list. All right, I'm going to spoil these next two just because I love these guys and they've done some awesome stuff, and I want to shout out something they've done recently. Go check out the Ethereum Times. Congratulations to Ved. One more on that list. Gonna give Tyr some time to catch up.
I'm good.
All right, congratulations to T-Sun. You guys have definitely earned your keeper. You guys, go check out the Ethereum Times after State of the Server. It's a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, they even mentioned the fact that I'd be late. I just thought that was hilarious. But, it's great. It's pretty fun and it's incredibly topical. But shout out to those two guys. Alrighty. On to the next one. Congrats to Fisher2. Alright. Gonna keep moving here. Congrats to Brandon X907. Congrats to Dutch Soldier. Dutch has been around for a while. He's been super active. I actually was surprised he hadn't got it yet. This next one, too, I was actually a little surprised at. Congrats to Vladek.
This next one as well, but I was surprised as well. And then I remember too.
Some of these we're
a lot of
surprised
these
about, I'll be
players were
honest.
around in beta, and that's why I'm like, oh, this player's been around for a year, but they're just now getting keeper. Yeah.
But yeah, these next, like, honestly, yeah, these next two I'm surprised at. Congrats to Spud Rivers. Ooh, someone launched a firework. I think that was probably a golden feather. But, alright, next one. This is another one I'm surprised at. Congrats to Zevi. Definitely a player who's been around for quite some time. Is he in the chat? I thought I saw him in the chat for a second.
I don't know.
He's still here.
I don't think so.
Alrighty, and next one down the list. Congrats to this one I might mispronounce. Carson. We sometimes say Q.
We're just making the Q and A. Yeah.
It's an A. It looks like
it's an A.
Alright, this one I'm actually very surprised about. Congrats to X Spike. I don't know how you haven't been a keeper yet. You should have been. I feel like you should have been.
It's beta. I think X Spike was with us through most of beta.
Yeah, he was. I'm almost positive of it. All right, and next one. Congrats to Quiggleton. Glad to have you join the ranks of the keepers. Been a great member of the community. Okay, we've only got 5 left. We have approached the sort of end of the list. And next one down, congrats to Orlanth. Well, yeah, of course we're going to go to Vanguards after the Keepers, Epic. No, sorry, none of you guys are good enough for Vanguards.
But we're also
right.
not done with Keepers.
Next one, congrats to Sprix. I knew he was in the chat. I was hoping he'd hear it.
I think a lot of these players have been with us pretty much since launch, but since I don't think we had a state of server
kind of missed them
before.
a little bit.
Yeah,
it sometimes happens. We apologize. There's a factor of how long you've been playing, but also we have to be able to recognize you. If you're so quiet or only play for a few minutes of the day, we may not recognize you. But yeah, it's a little bit of both.
It helps if you're super active in the weekly.
That helps a lot.
Server. It really helps us.
Speaking of super active players, congrats to Gnomed. Great addition to the keeper ranks. All right, 2 more. Let's see here. This one felt a little bit overdue. I'm surprised this one wasn't happening last time too. Congrats to It's Chris. Definitely belongs among the keepers.
This next one is the most overdue in my mind.
This is the most overdue one, but that's because it's somewhat of a meme. Some people are going to probably wonder.
Let's just make him an elder already.
You guys may have invested in his products at this point.
To which we apologize.
We apologize. He's probably scammed you, but congrats to Born for joining the ranks of the keepers. The ultimate meme. We love you, Born. Alrighty. And so now we are officially moving on to the Vanguard. This list is definitely a little bit shorter. As Io mentioned, these players are specifically chosen for us because we believe that they've actually been a great addition to the community. For those of you that just got Keeper, you're not eligible, so don't be offended if you didn't make it. And those of you that are Keeper, don't be offended either. We make mistakes sometimes. We don't always recognize some of your contributions, and we promise we're doing our best. But we just pick those that are very obvious to us. But yeah, we just want to give our special appreciation for these people that we absolutely noticed, giving their all for Vanguard. And so we've got 5 of them. And starting with... congratulations to Zephon. Yeah, so we're actually announcing these in game because there's less of them and they won't spam the crap out of you
apologies
guys.
for the Keeper that you didn't get a flashy in-game message, but Vanguard's onward, you guys will be getting a little in-game shout-out here.
Yep. Alright, so this next one, player who's been around since the beginning and has been a great member of the community and has been leading a pretty good nation. Congrats to Nerzul Rasputin. You kind of beat me to the punch there. God damn it, stealing some of my thunder. Alrighty, next one on the list. This player has been amazing. As a matter of fact, we did a little bit of research. He has said, welcome back to players over 2,000 times. Congratulations to Toto for joining the ranks of the Vanguards. 2,000 times. This
That
guy
is-
is the king of saying welcome back.
Insane.
Ajax isn't kidding.
I'm not kidding. Desert did the research.
Wait, Taryn did the
All right.
research.
Oh,
So-
2001. Yeah, there it is.
We could have sworn that this next player, we could have sworn already had this rank. But he's been a great member of the community since beta. And we are definitely ready to have him back, question mark, to the ranks of the Vanguards. Congrats to Lich. All right, final one. This one was actually a last-minute addition because we kind of skipped over it. Again, we're not perfect, and we sometimes miss names.
It's been a busy couple of months since we launched.
It has. I promise you that I have spent probably over 60 hours this week alone working on just Sieges. Every single day after work, it is straight to the Discord voice chat to work on Sieges, and it has been grueling. Hopefully they won't break. We'll see tonight and tomorrow. Anyway,
just to give you guys some confidence in this.
confidence. It's all about the confidence. On to the final Vanguard for this. And again, those of you who don't get mentioned, don't give up hope. We want everyone to become a Vanguard eventually. But for our last one, congratulations to CSL. Alrighty. And now moving on to the bigger ones. These ones are definitely a little bit more important. And we do take these pretty seriously. We actually denied multiple applications for this one. This is our Wardens. We take Wardens seriously. We like to give people a shot, but we definitely don't give it out for free. So every single one of these players has shown us something that we think would make them a great Warden. And so this first one, we've just been waiting for this guy to apply for the longest damn time. I'm pretty sure he's been with us basically since the beginning. Congratulations to Desert. Desert, I am so glad to finally have you amongst the Wardens.
Yeah. Overdue.
Alright, this next person is a recent addition to the development team. He's an incredibly passionate player who's been trying to help us rebalance our economy despite our best wishes because it's hard to do. But he's on the story writing team. He's gotten a lot of good ideas, and we hope that he can bring that passion to making sure that Atlas is a nice, fun community for people to be in. Congratulations to Biz. Oh wow! We just
Welcome
got
to a new player. Sap
Everyone say
Potato.
welcome, but don't scare them away. Oh, you guys are gonna scare the shit out of them. God damn it.
Guys, they have quest text to see.
Oh no. Oh, that's so bad. I'm just waiting for the leave message now.
Don't leave, please. We love you.
They're gonna say it now. Oh man,
Oh,
that's
he's
really
gonna
bad.
He's gonna flee in terror.
Thanks, Orlando.
Oh, good. He's here. Wait, don't come back. You're our everything.
Oh man. Alrighty, on to our next one on the list. This is again another person that we were kind of just waiting to apply for the position. We think that given their laid-back personality and their ability to be basically chill with anything, they would make a great chat mod. Congratulations to Long, the crazy old man from Shardian Stories, for anyone who's read those. I personally thought they were great.
Oh wait, I don't know this next person's actual
That's-
in-game
I don't-
name. I think it's fine. They'll know who they are.
Is there an application there? I feel like that one might not be an application.
Also, they're in game right now, so that's a.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll just press tab.
Wait, that's not an application, that next one.
Oh, really?
No, it's not.
Oh, never mind. Whoop,
Yeah, that's
delete.
not an application. Ooh, okay.
Sucks to be that
Good
person.
thing we didn't just promote somebody who didn't even apply. That would have been a problem. Congratulations for a staff rank you didn't apply for.
It's me. I'm an elder.
Congrats, Io. You're
Man.
awarded.
Woo, thank you.
No, this next one, now that we've deleted the name that
Yeah.
no one applied
There we
for,
go.
question mark, question mark.
Back on track.
Alright, this is another player on the other side of the world who we definitely need the help of because we actually have a pretty exciting nightlife. So congratulations to Echo for joining the ranks of our Wardens, and thanks to Dara for spoiling it. God, you guys are
Adara's hacking.
And so that is the end of our Warden applications. And so now it's on to Sentinels. Do we have any Sentinels this time?
We do.
We do.
We do. We do, in fact, have a Sentinel
The
application.
single one.
Which is going to give it away a little bit, especially in-game.
Only to
But-
some people.
Once again, we need some help on the other side of the world. And this person has only been around on the staff team for a little bit, but they've already impressed us with their ability to keep track of the other side of the world while the rest of us are asleep. So congratulations to Digger for being our, fifth ever Sentinel? No,
Yep.
wait, sixth. It's
Sixth. Yep. Because
It's sixth ever Sentinel. So
T was the first.
yeah, that's congratulations to Digger.
Yep.
Alright, we're gonna need an elder to give him that one. I can't give it to him.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Io, do you want to
I can do
go
it.
ahead and
yeah.
change his name to Purple?
I got it.
Sure.
Someone can do it in,
He's got it.
Yeah, someone can do a Discord chat too. All right, so now that we're done with promotions, let's go back to that other list that I have. Your armor is imbued with the strength of the decreasing armor durability loss for all nation members by a significant amount, I may add. So there you go. That's the third relic on. Yes, Jed, we are under the ground. I'm underneath myself currently.
Oh my god, Jed is here. I didn't even notice. What's up, Jed?
Yeah, Jed's here. No, I'm underneath myself, Jed. So if you see a name underneath the Prophet of
You're-
Jackson at Mario, that's me.
We're all chilling in our secret room right
They
now.
do, actually. Yeah. Rukar is right here. Let me give you the name of the relic I just talked about.
Oh, yeah.
That is called Torvald's Hammer. The previous one that increased range damage was called Kerosian's Sight. And the first one that increases melee damage was called the Might of Shiraxis. And yes, we spent a lot of time coming up with these names, probably far too much. All right, and so now it's time for the main attraction. It's the reason a lot of you are here. It's time to talk about Sieges, the most famed Atlas feature that probably spends more time in development than being released. For those that were around during beta, it launched a few weeks after beta, and it's a little bit flawed. It worked, and people enjoyed it when it actually happened, but that was one of the biggest things we wanted to address, the fact that it didn't actually happen. And those that had to take part, or chose not to, felt upset about the way it happened. So I'm going to dive a little bit in the history of Sieges, if no one minds. I won't get too in detail, but Sieges has been probably one of the most iterated plugins on Atlas just ever. It started out with some insane systems where guard towers, by the way, those things that you built that spawn guards, literally offered chest protection and build protection. And you actually, there was entirely complex algorithm to prevent you from building an insurmountable path through the entire guard tower area. And so then we had some people come along and absolutely destroy the system. And thus it was back to the drawing board. I still remember a day on my massive road trip up to Iowa through the snow and rain in which I was on a call talking about how to fix Sieges. I would confidently say that Sieges has gone through more than 40 iterations. Sieges is a very complex topic. And the problem comes down to the fact that Sieges is something that can be very, very a big deal. It's not proper English, but it's such a big deal. No one wants to lose their stuff. Everyone wants to gain stuff, but no one wants to lose stuff. And how do you allow people to compete in the system without feeling like they're being screwed? How do you balance all these things and still allow people to play the game without feeling like they have to be involved in Sieges? There's so many questions involved with Sieges, and while I am certain that there will be more iteration, I am hoping that none of them will be big anymore. I'm hoping that this following system that we're going to talk about, that a lot of you have probably read about, is the way that Sieges will stick with. It's not these looting thresholds with complex numbers, there's no crazy stuff to keep track of, and there's no need to always be a part of the system. As a matter of fact, the current system is entirely opt-in and opt-out. Now, you don't just type /opt-in or /opt-out. Instead, we've created these things called relics, which hopefully a lot of you are aware of, both because we're talking about them, but also because I've been talking about what they do. Relics are incredibly powerful artifacts. Relics are not items, by the way. They are special glowing entities that sit there and hover and pulse in midair in your towns. And the goal is that these relics are so powerful and interesting that you will be compelled to go gather them for their powers. But as a trade-off, if you have any relics in one of your towns, you are open to be attacked and have those relics stolen. Now, there's a lot of rules regarding this stuff. A lot of them are fairly obvious or they're fairly easily explained in game. But there's two big things we want to mention, and they have to do with the philosophy we have behind Sieges. We want this system to not punish new players. As a matter of fact, we actually kind of made a little bit of a faulty statement earlier. We didn't specify well enough on our post. But we don't want this system to beat up on new players who want to get involved. So the relic system will allow you to go siege anyone you want who has a relic without fear of retribution, as long as you don't have a relic in your own town. And the goal here is that nations that are powerful enough to have and control relics can defend them, but if they successfully repel attacks from people, the people that attack them shouldn't suffer penalties for the fact that they walked away with absolutely nothing except financial losses from their siege. They shouldn't be attacked by that big nation. It shouldn't punish new players for just wanting to try out the system. And so this is what we've attempted to do with relics. So here is a very specific rule with relics. And I'm going to read it straight off the page just to be as clear as possible. Your nation is vulnerable for a singular counter siege from any nation you sieged if you had a relic when you initiated the siege, even if you don't possess one at the time of the counter siege. And so this means a few things. It means that if you didn't have a relic when you siege someone, they can't retaliate. They simply can't. Now, here's the thing. If you pick up the relic that you stole from them and put it in your town, well, yeah, then they can attack you, but not because it's retaliation, but because it's a normal siege. You had a relic. So the whole point is that new players can get involved in the system or try it out without being negatively punished for trying it. Players who don't want to compete can entirely ignore the system, but players who want to be a part of it are a part of it, and they can't try and cheese the system by going and sieging somebody, stealing their stuff, then throwing their relics out of their town, and then being unsiegeable. It basically says, if you want to be involved and sieging people, you can be. But if you don't want to be, or if you're only testing the system, it won't punish you. This is the point behind relics. And relics mark a change in the way we thought about sieges. Sieges are a change from thinking about loot as the main goal of sieges, as opposed to the relics being the main goal of sieges. So I've talked a lot about relics. I want to talk a little bit more about sieges in general, because I recognize a lot of you don't actually know that much about sieges. So I'll dive into the next part of relics and stuff. If you have a relic, somebody cannot come attack you at 1 in the morning when you're not playing. That would be kind of bullshit and pretty cheesy. So we don't allow that. As a matter of fact, we have this thing called a vulnerability window. You won't be able to collect a relic, in fact, until you've set a vulnerability window. The vulnerability window displays every 1 hour period of the week, and you must select 6 1-hour periods throughout that week that you can be attacked. The nice part about this is, if you have a big nation with a lot of players, then you should easily be able to say, well, yeah, we play the most during these 6 hours. By the way, Io, you're typing loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. My mechanical glue. Apologies. Let me mute really quick.
But during those 6 hours, those are the only 6 hours you can be sieged. So it's not like if you pick up a relic, someone's going to come steal all your shit and walk off before you can do anything. Sieges are very much a two-sided, we both agree that this is a good time to fight mechanic. And we think that's good, because the whole point of sieges is not to allow you guys a way to steal from each other. It's a way to enable some of the coolest combat that we've ever participated in. I don't know if any of you have played Titanfall, but the reason I bring it up is something we talked about earlier today. Titanfall is a game where there's constant action. You're able to kill guards and players and just keep going. It's absolute constant action. That is actually what we attempt to create with sieges. It is constant action, killing guards, killing players, respawning, getting back in the fight, not losing many items when you die. In fact, you're only probably going to lose a single item every 3 deaths, at least important items. We want the fights to be fast-paced and fun. And that's the goal behind it. So if we don't have a system that encourages the most players to be able to fight, then we're not doing ourselves any favors then. So again, vulnerability windows allow you to make sure the fights are on times when everybody can be there. So they can be as big and as exciting as possible. All right, moving on. War camps. This is the way in which you initialize a siege. If you want to siege somebody, you go find where the town is. You get a certain ways away from it. The system will help you with how far you need to be away. You place a war camp, and then you say, I want to siege them. And then the siege starts. You get 45-minute preparation time in which everybody can prepare and be aware of the siege. But after that, then you can start doing things. When a siege starts, moving into sieges, you can blow up their base with TNT, use powder kegs inside their base to blow up walls, break soft blocks, which includes things that you would assume to be soft, dirt, grass, glass, things like that, and slowly mine through obsidian. Obsidian can't be broken by TNT, but it can be mined through. It's technically a soft block. It's a little weird, but it's fun. Lace walls with obsidian. And so during the siege, you'll be fighting over your relics and possibly some loot if you both have relics. But at the end, and this is the most important part, at the end of the siege, the defending nation can entirely restore their entire town 100% to the way it was right before the siege, completely free. Because we don't want you guys to feel like your hard work's being destroyed. That would kind of defeat the purpose. You guys would not want to play if your entire base was thrown to ruins. So your entire base will be restored, and then from there you can choose to iterate on it and change it and make it better based on what happened during the siege. And I'm going to mention this part too. It's important, especially for those that want to participate in sieges the most. The worst consequence of a siege. This is the worst case scenario. They steal 10% of your items. Which might sound like a lot, but let's say you've got 60 diamonds. They can steal 6. It's not that big a deal. As a matter of fact, they might spend more money getting into your base than you would defending those 10% of items. So we've had some problems when people believe that it's really scary. And I'm not going to blame anyone for not wanting to lose 10% of their stuff, but you know what? Try it out. I would encourage everyone to grab a relic and try it out. The worst case scenario is you lose a siege, you lose 10% of your stuff, and that's the worst case scenario. And then you throw the relic out and you can't be sieged again. Because the counter siege only initiates if you siege somebody. So if you get sieged and then throw it away, you're done. That's it. No one more can attack you. So try it out. You might really like it. Even if it's a little scary, even if someone sieges you and takes some stuff, it might be worth staying in. But yeah, give it a shot. See what you think. And so finally, let's see here. Yeah, so the aftermath of sieges. Now, there's a lot of stuff I'm skipping, by the way. If you guys want to know the very specifics of this stuff, go look it up in our page. If somebody could link it, by the way, in the Instagram channel, would be great. But anyway, the aftermath. After a siege is done, for an hour after the siege, you are unsiegeable again. You can restore your town will get restored almost instantaneously, and then you have an hour to make any changes before you can be sieged again. And that's only if your vulnerability window is that wide. Imagine if you only have a 1-hour vulnerability window that day. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, nobody could siege you after that anyway because, well, it's no longer your vulnerability window. And so that's sieges. It's meant to be a fun system. That is the goal. And we're going to keep striving towards that goal, and we will make changes to make it as fun as possible. It will suck to lose stuff. We know that. We know that sometimes it sucks to lose, but we hope in general that you guys can look back and say, that fight was fun. I beat the shit out of their guards. We destroyed so many of the guard towers. We got so close. Or it's like, they only got 2% of our stuff, and we can go siege them and steal even more. We hope that you guys enjoy the system, and if you guys have feedback, feel free to give it to us. We want to make the system as great as possible. And we do truly believe that you guys will be the best ones to let us know if there's something that's not quite right with the system. And I'm going to say this as a final note. It's a little bit not my favorite thing to say, but it needs to be said. We've spent over 60 hours this week, probably more, working on this. Our Aussies aren't even here. They're still sleeping from working on it.
Mars is here.
Mars is alive. The meme himself is alive. He's here. But the point remains, we've spent an unbelievable amount of time. And you know what? there are still a few edge cases and problems that haven't been solved. We will officially announce a lot of the things that we're specifically concerned about, but we do reserve the right to end sieges that have kind of, through some means or another, kind of subverted the way the system was supposed to work, or we didn't think of something. And so if you want to take part in the siege system, there is a small possibility that you may end up just not being able to siege somebody because something didn't go right. We've tested it extensively, and really the only thing we're worried about is edge cases. But we have to say it for now just to make sure. But enough doomsaying.
Yeah.
I've had a blast testing the system. We had a few test sieges with only like
We've had
3-4
some fun
people.
ones.
It's so much fun.
and we're awful at PvP. We're excited to see people who are actually good at PvP test the system. But just to throw out there as well, obviously a lot of people here have been with us since Alpha. We've got some new players as well who just joined in the last couple weeks. So for everyone in between, everyone who has experienced sieges in past iterations, we know it's been an influx system. We know it's been something that, you guys have had and then we have taken away to fix and then brought back. And so, the reason for it is not for us just to be assholes. We hope you realize. The reason is that, one of the core tenets of when we all sort of started out to create Atlas, we wanted to make a place, like we always say, that all sorts of different playstyles can enjoy. Whether that is PvPing or building or questing or lore or what have you, any of the cool different sort of playstyles you can have in Minecraft. And so we've all experienced PvP servers that they're fun, they can be really fun, but it's hard to differentiate a server that is pure PvP and a server that is pretty much anything else. And we really believe that there's a world where those two things can coexist. So with all of that, we wanted to create a system for, we know we have a lot of players who enjoy PvP. That's their aspect of this game. We respect that. We want to provide a place where it's fun for you guys to come in and do that. And so hence the opt-in system. Because we also realize that we have players who don't really want to deal with that, who may not be able to log on that many hours of the week and just want to log on and build cool stuff and do quests and write lore and all that. So, our sort of continued development of the system has been to achieve hopefully what we've achieved here, which is a system that sort of meets both those needs. We let players who don't want to deal with this aspect of the game kind of just have a way to opt out very naturally, and for the players that do want to engage in it, it's a fun and rewarding system that has sort of endless replay value. So we will also continue to add relics. That's another thing we want to add. We're obviously going to continue to
As a matter of fact,
announce powers.
Let's go ahead and announce another one here.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, this one is a little bit interesting. We actually only realized one of the parts of the powers of this relic recently. This is the Crown of Karak.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
The crown of the first Vantian warlord strikes fear into the hearts of monsters, increasing the damage that all nation members do to mobs on Atlas, but not in dungeons. This does include, however, damage done to guards.
Yeah.
Do with that information what you will.
So I'm going to rewrite that one, actually, so when you guys search it, you'll see that as well. But that's, because that, I think, is, extra damage to mobs, that's great. But extra damage to enemy guards, that's huge.
Yeah, all right. So we have, how many more to announce? We've got 5 more to announce. We've got not too many things left. I want to get through most of these before Q&A, maybe save one for the end. But, all right, so the launch time of the system. A lot of you are probably wondering when this is actually going to start. We don't have an incredibly specific start time, and the reason for that is that we're going to be launching enough relics that every nation that wants one should be able to get a relic. And as a result, we're not going. I'm going to give you a window, but I'm not going to give you an exact time. But also, I mean, it's entirely opt-in. There's no benefit to. There's no, reason to be worried about not being online when it starts. Anyway, the launch time is probably going to be somewhere between 1 and 2 p.m. CDT, which is approximately, doing math in my head, 17 hours from now. Does that sound right to people? Did I do too much?
Wait.
That sounds right. Yeah,
Wait,
17
what?
hours.
Say that again?
16 to 17 hours from now is probably when they'll launch, between 1 and 2 p.m. CDT. And yes, there are 9 relics. So, there you go. The countdown has begun. One thing, oh yeah, this is the final word I'll say about it. We are actually going to add vulnerability windows tonight. Vulnerability windows will be added tonight, and the reason for that is that vulnerability windows require you to set your vulnerability times somewhat in the future. And the reason for that is it would be kind of bullshit if an entire nation was at your borders and it said, oh, just kidding, we're not vulnerable right now. That would be kind of cheesy and cheap. So that's not going to happen. You have to set your vulnerability windows normally 12 hours ahead of time. But for launch, we will make it only 6 hours. So you guys will be on a little bit of a shorter schedule, but the goal is to allow you guys to get relics, set your vulnerability windows, and fight tomorrow if you want to. If anybody has a relic tomorrow and sets a vulnerability window tomorrow, you can experience the siege tomorrow. And you can change your vulnerability windows as often as you like. It's just that you have to have 6 hours during this week, always. If you try and cheese the system, I promise you're going to have a very, very terrible time when the end of the cycle comes around. And at like 4 in the morning for 6 hours on a Sunday, you're absolutely vulnerable, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't actually remember exactly what the cycle is, but yeah, so don't try and cheese the system, guys. We have put a lot of work into making it uncheesable. Okay, moving on to the next one. I'll announce another relic after this. Actually, Io, do you want to talk about this one?
Uh,
I have it highlighted.
Where are we? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll talk about this one. All right, yeah. So, well, this is moving on from sieges a little bit. You guys obviously have 1,000 other questions about sieges that we are happy to answer, but we will save those till the Q&A section at the end. We do have a few other things outside of sieges. Obviously, sieges has been our major focus for the past few weeks, trying to get the system out. So it's been the priority. But with sieges launching, beyond fixing bugs and such that will come up, we have a bunch of other things in the pipeline, new projects, new features that we want to kind of let you guys know about, the next things we're going to be working on. So one of those things is a sort of player-related thing that we wanted to bring up. I don't know how many of you guys have... I know a few players, a few nations have bought some fine art recently. One of our luxury items in-game is some in-game art that you're able to buy in Nauru. I've seen a couple nations buy some art. It's pretty cool. But basically, we have some pretty amazingly talented artists. Currently, only dev team artists have some work on the server, but I know, obviously, for a fact that outside of the dev team, just among our player base on the server, we have some awesome artists as well. Just another quick shout out to the Ethereum Times. Go check it out if you haven't got a shot. It is speaking of good artists, that is a perfect example. But we wanted to kind of, again, give players something else to get hyped about, something for players who aren't necessarily involved in PvP or building or some other aspects, but are really talented artists to do something as well. So we are going to be announcing an Atlas art contest. And basically how it's going to work is we will basically from state of the server to the state of the server, kind of like how we do promotions. We will have a new Discord channel here. You guys will see it tonight in the public Discord. That will be called something like Art Submission. And for anyone on the server who is like an artist, whether you hand draw or you do digital art or you do, Photoshop kind of screenshots or whatever your version of sort of original art is, we want to see it. We've had players do really cool Atlas art in the past. We've had devs do really cool Atlas art. And we just kind of want to open it up. We want to say, hey, send us your art if you guys have Atlas-related art, something that, you could see on the server. Obviously, like a car or a computer or something that clearly wouldn't exist in Atlas. But we have a lot of really talented artists, and we would love to recognize and also reward you guys. So the contest is going to be obviously a way, if you are really good artists, you can get your work out there, but Basically, how it will work is from one state of the server to the other will be the period of submissions. Starting today, basically, we'll open it up. The Discord channel will be created tonight. We'll have a format, kind of like the Dev Applications channel. If anyone wants to submit some art to be considered contest, you just post it there. Title it like you would any art piece, and we'll add it to the pool. And then in the weeks leading up to the next state of the server, we'll pick a top 5 or whatever number that is of the ones that have been submitted. We'll create a forum post. We'll let you guys vote on them, and then the winner will get not only their piece of art created as an in-game piece of luxury art that is purchasable by all players, but that artist will also get an in-game gem reward, and they will also get a free in-game version of their piece of luxury art.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of good perks. We have some obviously super, super talented people here. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We want to encourage this with some sweet rewards. So
should we tease the other upcoming contest?
Yeah, well, for those, because I'm sure this is a follow-up question for a lot of people as well, is will you do this for a build contest? And the question to that is also yes. We are also plotting a player build contest, which equally will have some sweet rewards, and we will likely also do it sort of every state of the server, like the art contest. That one we have to hammer out the details a little more, but we will, of course, let you guys know. The art contest, keep an eye out tonight. You guys will see the new Discord channel, and in that Discord channel, you'll see all the sort of guidelines of, like, what does my art have to fall under? How do I submit? Blah, blah, blah. All the things you guys may be wondering. So, so that'll be our new player art contest. Should be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Alrighty. And so now we're on to the next thing. But first, one more relic to do. All right. So now we're starting to get into some more of my favorite relics, I guess, personally. This next one is a little bit more cryptic, but I like it. Well, maybe. We'll see what you guys think. This is the Jewel of Savarunda. This ancient Dravidian artifact empowers you with the grace and speed of the sea. And I'll let you guys figure out what that means, but it's surprisingly more useful than I initially even thought it was going to be. I actually seriously love that one. And hopefully you guys
you
too.
pronounced Savarunda right. So that's
I'm pretty surprised too, honestly. That's pretty surprising.
He can say it right, he just can't spell it right.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's a lot to ask. All right, we will move on to a few upcoming features, and then I'm going to immediately do another one because we've still got 4 left. All right, so I will do. I'll do one feature and then a relic. We're going to do a little bit of rapid fire here.
All right.
Simple Magic. We announced this one last time, and I think we might have even said we're going to have it done pretty quickly. We do apologize for that being the case. It ended up being a lot more work to polish this out than we thought it would be. Plus, Tyr's been super busy. Unfortunately, as much as we wish we could work on this full time, we do unfortunately have to pay dues to our real lives. Some of us have got classes. A lot of us have real jobs and stuff. We got to work. Sucks, but yeah, we got to do that. Got to hold down those real jobs, get that real money. As much as we wish we could do this full time, so unfortunately, Tyr has not been able to put as much work into it, and Io's been busy rewriting some other stuff, which she's going to tell you about, and hasn't had much time to work on the quest side of that because we need to rewrite the entire quest tutorial to work with this system. So there's a lot of stuff to work on with that, and so we've pretty well underestimated how much work it was going to take. It is still a cool system. For those of you who have watched the old state of the server, you can see it in action, and it is cool. It's just, it does require some more work that we need to put into, and it's still one of our top features. As a matter of fact, now that Tyr and I are both going to be clear of working a majority of the time on sieges, hopefully we'll be able to put more time towards that.
Yeah.
And so it's not forgotten. It's not going away. We do apologize for being a little bit premature in our announcement of it, but it is coming, and we are going to be working on it even more hardcore. And so with that,
Yep.
one more relic.
I'll take this next one. I'm excited about this. This might be one of my favorite. Might be one of my favorite ones coming up. This next relic is called Caldress's Blessing. And the Earth Father blesses your lands with fertility, allowing your nation to grow all crops regardless of biome.
Whoo boy.
That's a fun
I know
one.
that one's been predicted.
Yeah.
People have been asking for something like that for a while, so hopefully a few people are interested in grabbing that one.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
All right, so this one is been very slowly in development. We've actually had some pretty big talks in the development chat about this one. This is diplomacy. Diplomacy is something that we realize would be a great benefit to Atlas because it allows people to make treaties that mean something. We've recognized a problem with general online play. It's not an Atlas-specific problem. It's a generalized problem for all online games. Online games, as opposed to real life, move very fast. People come and go. It's very normal for people to not know the history of the place they come from or the places they're against. It's very hard to know if someone is trustworthy or not, and it's hard to find people who can tell you the truth about that too. In a real-world scenario, it'd be significantly easier. If you're some nation and you've got a 100-year spat with some other nation, it's not going to be hard to know that, and nobody else is going to not know that. But in an online game, that's just not the case. So the point of diplomacy is to allow us to do something that the real world has done. That's a lot of fun, but unfortunately, without enforcement is pretty useless. And diplomacy is this idea that you can make a treaty with someone, and that treaty holds weight. As a matter of fact, the final decision on diplomacy is if you make a treaty with someone, it is unbreakable. So, players will be able to make unbreakable things like peace treaties or alliances, in which they can say, if you give us 5,000 gems, we will not attack you for 3 months. And that will be enforced. And so now, players have a way to play the game a little bit more strategically and be able to get out of problems if they need to, or be able to enforce their will if that's what they want to do, without having to just beat people off the server. You can win without having to just destroy people. You can play the game and win without having to keep fighting them because there's no other option. There's no way to enforce them to do anything. And nobody would ever surrender because there's no way to enforce that they would actually, keep their word once you paid them. So this system will allow people to actually make enforceable treaties that allow you to do more interesting stuff. Some of the things planned for the future that haven't been entirely agreed upon yet, so I won't mention them too much in detail, is alliances that force your allies to go to war with those you're at war with, and wars themselves, having consequences and strategy involved. Real wars, as opposed to just, attacking someone. These things are still in debate. The only thing that's for sure is basic diplomacy. Treaties, where you say, hey, we'll do this for that, kind of thing. All right, so we're going to announce one more, then I'm going to hand it over to Io for a little bit. And let's see here. All right, next one down the list. Oh, this one was a bit of a chore to make. I actually had to make an entire API for everyone's favorite plugin, Smeltery. This relic is Elifar's Forge. Elifar's Forge works tirelessly to produce the finest alloys and metals. Yeah. Don't have all the alloys? Well, you don't need to make them. I can make it for you. We'll see who wants to grab that one.
Well, we would still suggest making them because
I would too, yeah. It's
you'll need
useful
a
to have.
faster source of them, but this one will be helpful.
All right, so now it's on to Io to talk about a few things coming up. More on his end of things.
Yeah. So what are we on? Let's see.
Story quest.
Oh yeah. All right. So we talked about simple magic. We talked about diplomacy. Yeah. So obviously we some of you at least have played through some of the main story quests that we've added in our recent launch. For those of you that have reached the end of any one of the faction quest lines, you realize that there's a fairly useful reward for you at the end there that will hopefully continue luring you back to those quest lines because they'll only get better. For those of you that haven't beaten the main quest lines, I won't spoil what the reward is, but I highly suggest doing it because it is very useful. but that is something we are continually working on. We're obviously adding the next chapter of story quests that are coming out for the War of Aethera storyline for each of the factions. Kind of like this time around, there will be 3 different main quest lines, one for each of the main NPC factions. There will be different routes you can go down, different rewards. Like this one, if you decide you want to change your faction, you'll be able to pay a gem amount, change your faction, change your fast travel, all those things. On top of that, we are going to continue adding dungeons as well. We're obviously going to continue bug fixing the dungeons we have, but beyond that, we are working on new dungeons, dungeons that are actually more story-based dungeons. Now, obviously, our current dungeons relate to the story of Atlas, but these ones upcoming will specifically relate to the story of the War of Aethera storyline.
I'm so excited for the new dungeon.
Yeah, so we have one new dungeon I'll drop here that is actually a 2-sided dungeon. The only thing I'll tease about it is it is an airship dungeon. I know that will excite some players. But the way it will work is in the sort of story of our ongoing world war that's happening on the server between all of these NPC factions. This will actually be a 2-sided dungeon, and players will be able to do this dungeon from one of 2 sides or both. Obviously dungeons are on an 8-hour cooldown. You guys can return to the dungeon whatever you want, but it's kind of the same area, so to speak, but there's 2 sides that you can play the dungeon from with 2 different objectives, different rewards, those things. So that's in the works right now. New chapters for the main quest line, some new world events. On top of that, of course, we're working on new RP events. A lot more things upcoming. Some of you were at the latest RP event where we launched the Nation Embassy. RP events as we move forward will be more in line with kind of the one alpha, where we'll be leading up to them with kind of like a forum vote for players, and you guys will actually get to decide on, between 3 or 4 or 5 different options of actual physical, tangible ways that you want to advance the server. So just to, quick explanation for some players who are newer. One of our events during Alpha related to an NPC town, and we prefaced it with a sort of forum event, as we called it, where we let players vote and said, hey, there's 5 different ways in which we could add buffs to this one particular NPC town in game. Either we give them extra merchants, or we give them extra quests, or we give them, XYZ, a different number of things. We left it up to the players to say, what do you guys want? How do you guys want to actually physically change the world of Atlas and move this forward? And the winner of that was implemented into the game, and we sort of advanced the story and the world of that area of Atlas forward based on kind of what you guys chose. And that's kind of how we want to do RP events moving forward. We really like having this sort of player choice where we kind of throw it to you guys and say, hey, here's a storyline. We have a couple different choices. We want to leave it up to you guys. What do you guys, as a consensus who are here, think? How do you guys think the world should advance forward? What do you want to see? And you guys vote on it. We move it forward, and that's how the story advances. We have a lot of fun with it, and we want to just kind of continue to encourage that among you guys. So we'll have a lot more interactive RP events like that. The choices you guys make will actually tangibly change the server, and sort of move the storyline forward as you guys decide is best for it. So a lot of cool things in that department. In addition to that, I know a lot of you guys have been asking about some of the merchants that we had back in beta. When are we bringing them back? For new players, we had merchants in the past who purchased not only the vanilla ingots, but they purchased smeltery ingots, they purchased tannery hides. We had bartenders who purchased brewery alcohols, all of our sort of custom things. It was not just a system where you could go and create these different, discover different recipes, new alloys, new brews. You could also monetize them. If you discovered strong absinthe, for example, and you discovered an NPC town where a bartender purchased it. Well, yeah, I'll use it as an example, whether it exists or not. Like many of our other things, different NPC town merchants have different stocks. They buy and sell different things. So we will be adding that back. We did a little work, obviously, on smeltery, on tannery. We added some new ingots, rebalanced things a little bit. But now that we have added those back in, we are going to now re-add the ability to sell those, profit from them, make them not only a good item to have for the things they make, but also for the money that they make. So that's something.
Awesome.
And then final thing we're working on from the creative side that we hope you guys will be excited for. This was something we had back in beta. Again, for new players who don't know, we had a system. We called it the daily events. And basically, every day, every server reset, there would be a daily event that was active on the server. And it would either be something like smuggling, for example, where you could buy and sell these contraband goods from NPC towns and ferry them to different towns and sell them for really high prices. But players would kill each other in the wild to try to steal their crates.
We haven't forgotten about these things.
We haven't forgotten about that, all these things are coming back once we can fix them and balance them. But there were also things like specific islands, like say it was a Thursday, you could go to Nauru
Fishing
and take
tournament.
a ship. Yeah, or you could go to Nauru and take a ship to an island where you could, mine a bunch of obsidian and artifacts that you could sell for a lot of gems.
Any beta players remember what day that was? The mining island?
Oh yeah, what was it?
I forget. I know you guys remember. What was it? The excavation island. It was Saturday.
Yeah, that was it. An island where ores. We had a resource island where ores spawn more frequently, like every Thursday. So the idea is that we would have this daily event system. Every day you guys log on, it would tell you in your join message, "Hey, today's event is blah blah blah, like the farming island. Go to Nauru and take the ship to the farming island, and you guys can grow crops in a place where no one can have weapons. Just something that's unique, or kind of a different, or something we want to add into the mix are adventure islands, which are kind of like dungeons, but it's like, hey, go to Nauru with a group, take this ship to this island, and complete the sort of dungeon quest that exists in this island and get an awesome reward, but it's only active on Tuesdays. And the idea is that every day we have, a dozen, 24 events that we just kind of cycle through. And every day of the week, it kind of randomizes and says, hey, today's event is the farming island. Hey, today's event is the resource island. Hey, today's event is the Isle of Savarunda. And it's just kind of a new thing for people to experience every day that they log on and go, hey, cool, let's do this thing and get a shitload of money.
Yep.
So
have a reason to log in every day.
So
exactly. That leads into one other thing. Something that a lot of you experienced this past Easter time was something something we consider a holiday event. And for those that keep up with the Atlas calendar, does anybody know how many years go by every single normal year? Anybody?
Beal?
Nobody? It's 4 years, I think. Not exactly, but it's close. And so we have we have holiday events, but we can't say every year this happens. No. So we have holiday events that represent things that are kind of events that happen in the world of Atlas for reasons that sometimes go beyond the understanding of the normal people, like Karos Bloom. Karos Bloom is when the World Tree Karos. Is it 12 years? Am I that far off? That's really sad.
Every
Is it 12 years?
Yeah,
it might be. I think you might
It
be
might
right.
be.
I might be totally
Yeah.
off. That just goes to show that I'm not the lore
Yeah.
guy. You guys can
No,
yell
it
at
is.
Io
It is.
for
It
not
is
correcting
12.
me.
Thank you for reminding me, Dar. It is. Yeah, once every 12 year.
But so yeah, every X years, every X amount of time, something crazy will happen in the world of the Atlas, like Karos Bloom, an event where the world tree Karos sheds its blossoms across the world. And it's fun, and it corresponds to the real world stuff that happens in the real world. We plan to add more of those things, and we plan for them to be long events, like when Halloween comes up. When I think we're gonna try and have an event here soon. I won't spoil it because it's not
Yeah.
currently technically planned.
But we will
But,
for sure have a summer event.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
to
have a
tease you
summer
guys.
event, gonna have a Halloween event, gonna have a Christmas event, and they'll all last normally a week or more. And there will just be fun things that change the plane of Atlas a little bit. Not crazy much, but enough to give you something fun to do. When you're like, okay, well, I finished building this wall. I'm gonna go drink in the cavern with the Grim Reaper. Something fun to do. But yeah, so we have a lot of event stuff planned, and the plan is to introduce that stuff after we've introduced some of the final mechanics. Apologize if you hear jingling in the background. That's my dog. It's 9:30. He wants to go outside. He's gonna have to wait just a little bit longer. So yeah. All right, it's time for one more relic reveal, and then we will launch into everyone's favorite part of State of the Server, Q&A. I actually like this one. What's up?
Part? I said I think you mean T's least favorite part.
All
All the notes.
right, so this next one. This one was actually surprisingly hard to make. I had to hack into some serious Minecraft code to actually make this work, which is surprising because it seems pretty simple. Heart of the Ocean. The heart of the ocean attracts countless schools of fish to the town it resides in. Which may not sound like much, but there's some people in the chat who are absolutely losing their minds right now because they've realized what that means. And with that, it's on to Q&A. We will now officially answer the questions. You guys can start posting them. T's been recording everything. Everyone shout out to T for keeping track of everything.
Yep.
But it's time to go. It's time to jump into all these questions. All personal questions must wait till the end. You can even ask for a picture of my dog. I took one just in case you asked for it. I bet everyone's got a picture of a dog.
Oh yeah, we've all the elders. Yeah, I'm sure all the elders will share their dogs. For those of you that have posted questions in State of the Server chat, we will address your questions first. But obviously, guys, feel free to continue posting questions. There will be a point several hours in where we cut off because we have not eaten dinner yet, and we'll be hungry.
I'm hungry already.
We will. Tier's already hungry. We will try to answer as many questions as we possibly can. But there are already quite a few that have been asked already that T has thankfully copied over to our helpful doc here. So we'll go through them as they were asked. Starting with this first one, are multiple nations allowed to siege your nation at the same time?
In technicality, this is the case. When in reality, only one nation can declare a siege on you. And its allies, that attacking nation's allies, can aid them in their siege against you. So technically, yes, multiple nations can siege you at the same time. I hope that answers.
You can. Multiple nations can siege you at the same time. One of them will declare it, and that's the nation that. So that's the nation you need to watch out for most. But like for example, let's say someone comes up and sieges you along with their main ally. If you destroy all of the main nation players, their ally will take over the siege. It's an incredibly flexible system. It means that you can have a whole bunch of defenders and a lot of attackers. As a matter of fact, if you build a war camp as an ally to the nation that you're helping defend, you will respawn them. So you can bring all of your allies to defend you as well. Now, everyone but the main people involved experience some disadvantages because we still want the main two nations to be fighting, but you'll be very much a part of the siege. All right, next one. Will more relics be added and when? We don't know yet. We launched with 9. There's a lot of ideas, and we want more ideas from you, especially now that you guys know what they actually do. As a matter of fact, this next one I think is going to blow your minds. At least I hope it does, because I thought it was amazing. But we'll get there at the end of state of the server. So if you guys stop asking questions, then we'll tell you about that. But yeah, so more relics will be added, and we want a lot of feedback for you guys, both on fixing the current ones to make them more balanced if they're not, but then also for more relics. We already have a lot of ideas of our own, but we want more. All right, I'm going to skip this next one. Man,
I'll answer this one. The answer is we don't know, and
we haven't. All right, so this next one, I think we should skip that one too because this seems like self-promotion. Tisk tisk. But just as a teaser, there is some nice trade options coming up here soon. Now, that's what I'll say about that.
yeah.
Do you have some plans for customizable fast travel? I don't think we do, actually.
No, I'll answer this. I'll answer this next one. Not well, customizable. I wouldn't say customizable, but fast travel that players will have a little more control over. I will say there is something coming that might excite you.
All right, cool. All right, on the next one here. While with sieges getting an overhaul, are there any new rules regarding allies and their role in sieges? Is betraying mid-siege allowed? We actually did a betray mid-siege. Nation betray allowed against the rules, but yes, you can betray your ally. That's okay. You just can't be in the same nation as them. We actually tested it, and it works pretty well. There is a bug, and I want you to know right now we're not going to address it because it's just really hard to do. If you betray a nation mid-siege, the guards of the attackers may not realize that you're actually on their side now. Which is, if you ask me, a realism-enhancing feature, because that's the kind of miscommunication that happens during attacks. So, there you go. On to the next one. Can the Blade of Karag Eastwind get mending attached to it? It's a solid quest chain for a subpar sword that eventually just...
That's a good question.
We'll answer it later.
We will make quick shout out to T who wrote that quest line. It is a lot of fun, but it is definitely an item that we want to make more sought after, like the grappling hook. Once upon an Atlas, there was mending as part of that sword, I believe. But you know, in going through things, realizing that mending is a ridiculous, unbalanced enchantment that Mojang threw in there because they're dumb.
We've rebalanced it.
We've rebalanced it. Not to say we'll never re-add it in again, but you know, it's something we need to kind of review a little bit. But that sword, you know, we recognize it's a very long, excruciating quest chain for a sword. We want it to be worth it for you guys, so we definitely will revisit what that sword does and how powerful it is. We will buff it a little bit.
All right, on to the next one. Will there be any changes to magic regeneration on guard towers? We've kind of ignored this a little bit, but it's going to become significantly more important now that sieges are happening. The goal, as far as I'm aware, is to make it so guard towers... I'm kind of unsure about this, if you can't tell, is that guard towers should relatively regenerate entirely after an attack, if they're not destroyed. Which means it should take an hour or two for them to regenerate at most. If that's not the case, we'll address that. It sounds like it's definitely not the case, and we'll definitely look into it, especially now that sieges are coming up. Again, this hasn't really been discussed, but this is kind of a general thing that it's kind of there. But yeah, we'll definitely address that if it's a problem. We were actually not aware of that one.
Are all relic spawn locations all pre-built? Can they drop in other places like the bottom of the ocean or the caves under the plains? Currently, as they are, they spawn in preset locations. There was talk of them spawning randomly throughout the world. We haven't necessarily discussed that fully, and we haven't necessarily thought of that fully yet. We might look into that, but there's no promise on that.
Yeah. The problem
something.
with this is,
Yeah.
Oh, go for it.
Okay. No. Well, I was just going to say something to note is, of course, we're only launching with 9 relics this weekend. There is no max, at least as of now, maximum amount of relics that we're going to reach. Our plan as of now, as we see how relics work, see the ones you guys enjoy, the ones that are powerful, the ones that are underpowered, we rebalance. We are only going to continue to add relics to the game. So as it exists currently, relics will only spawn in quest locations, in sort of block protected, PvP enabled quest locations that exist kind of throughout the world. And you guys, of course, as players, will always be able to search where any relic is at any given time by just typing /relics. But as we continue to add, we're starting with 9. By the time we reach the end of the system, or at least are well into the system, our plan is to have several dozen. And by that point, we will have relics spawning in the wild. We will have relics spawning in quest locations. We will have relics all the hell over the place. The idea is that it be less about like, oh, let's know where they spawn, and more about like, oh my god, there's 30 relics right now. Where's the one that's available in the next 30 minutes? So we hope the system sort of expands into something where players will always have a chance to be like, hey, this relic is about to reset. Let's go grab it.
Yeah. All right. In the last day of the server, maximum town level was mentioned, but it seemed like it would stay the same because only a few days it meets maximum town level. So we actually do have plans to increase this, and we have a lot of more rewards planned to make it more rewarding to level up. It's actually something we've been talking about because we realize that despite getting, there's not too much to gain by leveling up. We want leveling up to mean, and we definitely feel like people were able to level up too long. When I initially thought of the system, when I was doing the math, and yes, I did a lot of math when coming up with the system, I incorrectly assumed it would take a good year to reach level 40. How wrong was I on that one? I highly underestimated how much you guys are willing to break the system. And so there will be changes, and we're going to work on increasing it and adding rewards to make it worth it as well. Yeah, it was supposed to take a year to get to level 40. That was the original idea. Within 1 month, somebody had already reached level 40.
And then you guys went and played our server.
How dare you?
Ruined everything.
But yeah, so we do have plans to fix that one.
Yeah, something to throw on there as well. And this actually is something we should have mentioned in the sort of upcoming projects that we're planning. The experience of leveling a particular town from 1 to 40 is fairly underwhelming right now, and that is another project that we're going to be working on in addition to symbol magic and diplomacy and some of the other things we talked about. We are going to be expanding on a system that we've already started, which is the whole landmarks and citizens and town leveling system. For a lot of you guys who have already leveled towns a fair amount, you've realized that hitting certain levels unlocks particular perks. But to kind of let you guys know where we're coming from, we kind of always intended this system to be something that was more exciting as you were leveling. And we always had the intention of having landmarks to unlock, more citizen NPCs to unlock, more perks to unlock, just different reasons to level your town, because hitting, every 2 levels would unlock a certain perk that would, make your town better, make your quality of life easier. So one of the projects that we're going to be working on, and one of the sort of incentives to level your town, is that there will be more things to unlock as you hit those certain levels. As your town hits every 2 levels, our idea is that you will have a new landmark that you will unlock that you can get from your town steward in place that will give a benefit to your town. Or you'll get a new citizen NPC that you can place that does something for your players. Or there'll be a new passive perk for your town. there will be, by the time you've hit the cap, you will have unlocked several dozen cool, sort of perks for your town in the system. So that's something we're working on as well. In addition, we understand the cap from 1 to 40 right now is a little underwhelming, but we will be adding more, things to unlock along the way. And for those towns that have obviously already reached those levels, when we release them, you guys will have a bunch of cool new things to place.
All right.
So
I'm going to do some quick fire ones here. Would it be possible to add tannery hides to dire wolves? We can definitely crank up the chance. They're much harder to kill. I think it would make more sense for them to drop more. When will there be a kelp leaderboard? Unfortunately, not anytime soon. We're still trying to make sure all the leaderboards are actually useful. We will actually probably be changing them at some time in the future. Will mushrooms ever get hides for tannering? Probably not. I don't know. Tannery is based on some amount of realism. We don't want to have mushroom armor any different than cowhide armor, honestly. It's fairly much the same. Plus, there's only so much variation we can have.
Yeah.
Vendors. New merchants coming later. And
Yeah,
finally,
these-
will there be hide vendors? Look above, coming later. All right, so next one. There is more.
Funny story. These actually exist already. For those of you that have done the main story, you may have encountered these.
Oh.
There are battlegrounds that exist
There
where
were.
if you are following, battlegrounds that exist. For example, if you were Pure Laker quest line, you would hit a point and they would send you to a battleground, and you would have to fight for the Pure Lakers by killing whatever enemy commander they sent you to. Unfortunately, when we launched, as many of you know, we had some TPS issues. We didn't want to keep players from, being able to experience the server because they were lagging to the 7th layer of hell. So we disabled some things to kind of help some of those TPS issues. One of those things we disabled was Battlegrounds. So for those of you that have showed up to Battlegrounds, you may have realized that some of the NPCs are just kind of standing around, not fighting, staring their enemy in the eye, and not really doing anything. But those will be coming back. And as we sort of advance the War with Their storyline, the quest line moves forward, you guys will see more of that. And like I mentioned with RP events before, similar to those, as the War with Their storyline moves forward, there will be more things that we throw to you guys. There will be more decisions that, we have written to a certain point, and then we have a couple different branches they could go, and we kind of want to leave it to you guys and say, like, hey, what do you choose? Choose your own adventure. And then leave it up to you guys, and whatever you see, as the way you want to move the world forward, we progress the story in that way. So that'll be how War of Thera kind of moves forward a little bit. And of course, War of Thera will be our storyline, sort of main Atlas storyline, as we move toward the inevitable Nether storyline.
Yep. All right. I want to talk about this next one because I loved it. So, what does everyone think of the Beehive suggestion by Golden Star? I actually personally really liked it. I think that one of the great things about it was that it was fairly well supported, and they had the items there. Everything made a decent amount of sense for it, and it would be a great addition to a lot of the cooking and brewery plugins that exist. Like, I don't know if you guys have discovered it. Hopefully you have. There's mead on the server. You can invent a few different kinds of mead, and there's plans to be more. I think there should probably be honey in it, since that's kind of the point. But yeah, so there's definitely plans for that stuff. It's just, well, as you can imagine, we have a priority for getting things done. And as much as I want to do that, well, we wanted to get sieges done first, and things like diplomacy, we really want to get done first as well, just because they're super important. But yeah, Golden Star's suggestion was super much appreciated, and we're still thinking about it. I think it's really cool. Are there any notions to add siege weaponry, like Adara's suggestion? Yeah, we are thinking about adding siege weapons eventually, but I want you guys to keep in mind that sieges just got released. Siege weapons are a little ways off still. We want to see how the system works well and get a good idea of how things work before we really add new siege stuff. Now, it says here his Arbicus, which is, if I'm not mistaken, a gun. It's more of a gun than a siege weapon. And we've considered adding guns to Atlas, but they would be very basic guns, and that's only if we ever really assume, if we ever actually try to do it. We may not. We may decide that the time period for Atlas is just not quite at guns yet, or it may come way later in an expansion where we feel guns would be an interesting addition. But I wouldn't hold your breath for guns. I know there's a lot of plugins for it, and it wouldn't be hard, and that's not the problem. It's just that we're not quite sure Atlas needs guns yet. We think that enough to do with what we currently have. Okay. Cooking and brewing stuff. I haven't read this one yet.
I'll take this. I'll take this
Okay,
one. Yeah,
cool.
there's some cool stuff in here. This is a very cool suggestion, and obviously we want to continue to advance cooking and brewery, and brewery will have merchants that buy alcohols, and sort of move things forward a little bit. The one thing I really like in here, and it reminds me of how this is a feature I think in WoW. The idea of feasts, and if you're a cook and you know a ton of recipes, that you can sort of set down a table in the world and allow other players to come and eat foods that you have created and either get buffs, do any number of things, positive benefits that you can get from eating from this table. I think that's very cool. Obviously something we want to explore moving. This idea of and also kind of going hand in hand with, we want to kind of promote the idea of players doing their own sort of RP events, as we've seen in the past. We have player towns host RP events, and they invite other nations, and they hand out food and do things like that. If there are mechanical ways, like feasts, for example, here, where we can encourage that, we love that. That's so cool to see players do, and we only want to continue to add ways to make it easier for players to host their own RP events and be able to, dole out free booze and free food and that. We love that. So yes, we will definitely. I love some of the ideas in the Pacific Post. Some of them we have kind of ideated on before, but we will definitely take into consideration / have already taken into consideration several of these. So thank you for the post. There's some cool stuff in here.
Yeah. All right, next one. Pets. So the idea of allowing patrons or anybody with coins to purchase extra pet slots. We won't actually do this. I'm not sure if we made it seem that way, but we can't do it. And hopefully it's fairly understandable why. While we like to give everybody pets, allowing somebody to have multiple pets allows them to switch up their entire fighting style on a dime. They can just immediately change it. And that is a pretty nice advantage to have in a fight, which would be kind of unfair to only give to donors. And as many of you hopefully know, Atlas is very strictly against pay to win.
Mm-hmm.
We simply don't want an atmosphere where people feel like money allows them to win. And so we are very careful about avoiding that. Now, I know you can spin the wheel and get a few coins, but let's be real here. If somebody can just buy everything and you have to wait a month to spin the wheel enough to get it, it's not very fun. And so we can't do things like that. We do have plans for more ways to spend coins. New times of tomes, everything from disguising your item as a different item, or having it look extra cool, to literally adding particles to things, or we've had a few other things too. And we also have a few other things in the future, but we're getting there. We apologize there's not nearly enough stuff in the store.
Merch, to answer your question in real time, Epic, merch will definitely be one of the things we'll be adding soon. I know we say that every state of the server, but it's something that when we don't have a feature like Sieges in our face to code, we'll get some cool merch out.
Yep. Alrighty, so on to the next one here. What are the next big things the devs are passionate about working on? What can we expect at the next state of the server? So we can't share too much about this because one of the things that we do is we don't want to share things with you guys unless we are somewhat confident that it's actually going to make it to the daylight. There were things that we were literally discussing for the next day of the server, but we can't share many of them with you because like there's going to be cool ideas that get scrapped or something like that just we don't want to disappoint you guys thinking that something would be cool when we would actually have to spend an hour telling you why it's actually not going to work right. I promise you, if there's a great idea, we're not going to scrap it. It's only if it ends up not working. But yeah, so we can't really share too much about what's the
If you guys want to hear those ideas that we talk about and then eventually scrap, we highly suggest apply for the dev team.
Yep. Another way to get there, great plug by the way, is Atlas is always in need of supporters. Now, a lot of you, especially those of you online, are already supporters of Atlas, and we thank you guys greatly for helping make this server possible. But we always need more people to help support Atlas because it allows us to get things done faster, push advertisements, get better art done, and sometimes even pay to get things done that none of our devs want to get done. And occasionally might buy a dev a coffee if they need it to get through a project. And it's also just great to see that so many people are supporting Atlas. So if you guys want to support Atlas more, we highly recommend checking out our Patreon. Thank you, Biz, for linking it. But you can find it on our shop as well. If you become a patron, there are perks that you can get that you can't get anywhere else for the server, and you'll get our eternal gratitude for sure. We love to have people who care about the server enough to support it. And a shout out to all our current patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you for giving me something awesome to look at every morning and say, look how many people truly care and absolutely love Atlas. Not to say that the rest of you don't. We know that there's reasons that you can't always afford to spend $15 on the server, but we do really appreciate everyone who is making that sacrifice for the server. But so yeah, little plug there right in the middle. But all patrons get access to the dev server. You can join a dev meeting. You don't get access to all the dev stuff because some of it's confidential information, but you do get to join us for the dev meetings. So yeah, you'll get to see what things do not make it off the cutting room floor because they just don't quite work out. It's a fun way to also kind of spit out an idea on the dev team occasionally if you want. But yeah, everyone consider it if it's within your ability. We would definitely appreciate it. All right, on to the next one here. He's answering before we can get there. Are there any new dungeons plans? Yes. Io, can we mention the name? Is Io here? I think he's gone. I bet he's getting another drink. That's my guess. We'll move on to the next one. Oh, no, he is here.
That was a good guess, and I'm now back from getting my drink. My phone is Let me plug it in before I die here.
Are there any new dungeons that we can mention the name of?
Are we on the dungeons plan for the future question?
Can we mention the name of it? That's all I was going to do. Mention the name if we can.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Io, what's the name of it?
What? I think he stepped away for a second again.
He went to go get another drink.
I think he said he was plugging something in before it died.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Okay. Alright, we're experiencing technical difficulties. We've entirely lost Io. Alright, we're gonna start powering through these because there's still a million questions and we're only supposed to go for another 10 minutes.
I'm really hungry.
Yeah, so we're only gonna go for a little bit longer. We're gonna speed through these. I'm just gonna start speeding through these. So greenhouse when? This is a relic for this. We're not going to probably do the greenhouse soon, or if we do, it's going to be changed.
Yep.
Currently, if you run carriers with 3 people, you end up losing gems after the buy-in and dungeon reward. That is actually not the case. It shouldn't be, at least. Should be hidden chests that you can get, along with stuff in the thing.
Yeah, and selling the Kairos.
Profitable.
Yeah, selling the Kairos.
You have to sell the Kairos roots sometimes, but it's profitable. Llamas when? I was not aware that they weren't spawning. I'm going to go check it out. If I can fix that, I will in the next few days. Are there any plans for proper dual wielding? We have really thought about it, but intensive, so we'll see how long it takes to do. It might have to be just a dev off the whim project, or we might have to buy some existing dual wield plugins, which is not ideal, but if we need to do it, we do. And yeah, donate if you want to see it.
Are there any
plans to do more videos on YouTube channel? Well, this will be a video. As for other videos, yes. Maybe. One of the problems is it's really hard to keep all this stuff up. There's a lot of stuff that goes into making videos, making them look good. Io's been working on something now for a while. He's been working on a second trailer. I'm not sure how much work it's got because I know he's been busy and he's been working on a project.
It also doesn't help that the main plugin we've been using to record shots doesn't work anymore.
Doesn't work. Yeah, that doesn't help either. But all right, moving on. With magic coming, are shields going to be able to block magic attacks? It's not planned to currently, right?
No. Okay, these next two questions I'll answer. I have
Quickly.
a shield rework in kind of in the works. I have not presented it to the rest of the dev team yet. So this is them.
This is news to me.
Yeah, I'm letting them know as well that I have some plans in the works. There's some really cool ideas that I have pulled from a mod called Mine and Blade Battle Gear 2, which was a Minecraft mod that was, I believe, up to 1.8. Did some really cool stuff. Really cool shield mechanics with that mod that I kind of want to pull over here. Awesome stuff there. So we'll see. When that system comes out, there's going to be combat is going to be it's an iterative process, right? So there's a lot of things that are going to go on there.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Range attacks at the moment can be blocked an unlimited number of times by shields, which makes the range attack inherently weaker than melee attacks. Is this intentional? Ranged attacks are actually supposed to be weaker than melee attacks. We actually account for that in every part of our combat balancing because we know that they can be blocked. So, yeah, that is intentional, and we've accounted for it everywhere, including on the Relic. So, do with that information. Is there still a plan to move to 1.14? We are closely watching every single new release of 1.14. We've actually heard good things about 1.14.4. If it's good, yes, we will move up to 1.14.4. How is life going right now, guys? That's a personal question that comes at the end, but we will address that. What did you have for breakfast? Once again, at the end. Tropical fish. I mean, you can catch them through angling, barely, but you can. As for having them appear in the ocean specifically, you can't do it right now. We did as much as we could for the world rework, but it wasn't perfect. And ocean, one of the things that suffered a little bit. We're going to rework it and fix it. It just may take time. If there's anything that's seriously lacking because tropical fish aren't here, let us know and we'll make sure you have access. Next one. So after I read the Siege's site page, it's still unclear to me how the time works. Do you have to set 6 Siege water times a day or week? Vulnerability window has to be set. You have to have 6 throughout the week. They don't have to be. You could have 2 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Wednesday, and then 2 hours on Friday. You could have 1 hour on 6 different days. You can have them all at the same time. You just must have 6 total hours per week. And that's vulnerability windows. What if nobody is online during a vulnerability window? Since you are given the option to set your vulnerability window, out of all the hours in the week, there's only 6 in which you have to say we can have members online or they can be available. You are vulnerable no matter what during the 6 hours. So if you want to have a relic, you need to be able to say, if it happens, we can be on during the 6 hours. And that's just the only way it really works. We can't allow people to avoid sieges entirely by just avoiding the times to log on. That encourages people not to play, and it's also not very fun for the people who want to siege it. Might there be going to be a way to suggest in Discord, maybe with a 2 hours? I don't understand this one.
I think he's asking
adding
suggestions, server suggestions channel here.
Instead of on the forums.
I think we're gonna keep it to the forums for the time being.
Yeah, there's a suggestions channel on the dev chat. More opportunity to check that out. But yeah, we probably won't do it from the main channel because we know you guys have a million ideas. The forum means that we get more of the more fleshed out ideas. That's what we want, and they're also more permanent. We want to see your guys' ideas, and we don't want it to get drowned out by 100 people talking about their suggestions. Does it? Someone's typing. Does it still announce to the server when someone sieges it to the server? Everyone can see when you're getting sieged. As a matter of fact, you can see when anybody brings in or brings out a relic from a town. What about the world bosses with the Azure Storm?
Huh.
The Azure Storm's still a little buggy. We're working on it.
Yeah, I'm back, by the way. Phone died, so I apologize. To answer this question, world bosses specifically will be getting their spawn rates. We started them super low because they are incredibly
They're world bosses.
Yeah, we didn't want players to just run into them and just completely decimated, but we will increase their spawn rates a little bit.
We have some plans to make them easier to find.
Yeah,
too,
we'll also have some more world bosses as well. Currently, there are only spawn in specific biomes. As far as the Azure, there are a few bugs we need to work out. Like said, we've all been kind of focused on sieges and bug testing, things related to that lately. So we will. I will look into some of the Azure Storm bugs. If you guys have specific bugs related to the Azure Storm, I have fixed a couple recently, but if there are others that players are still experiencing, please post them to the bugs and glitches section of the forum. Otherwise, I am not guaranteed that I know of the bug that exists that you are talking about. So,
By the way, just a final note on the Azure Storm. If you're going to run it, do it when an admin's around, just in case. We're happy to help you get out of there, but just do it when we're around. All right, next, can you change vulnerability windows? I'm going to say it out loud, even though we texted it a little bit in the chats a lot. Vulnerability windows can be changed whenever you want within a. You cannot change any vulnerability windows that are coming up within the next 6 hours. That means you can't add them and you can't remove them if they're coming in the next 6 hours. Now, there's one more exception. I apologize for the number of exceptions. But this 6 hour window is only for the first few days of sieges. After that, it's going to move to 12 hours. And the reason behind this is that we want you guys to be fairly comfortable with your vulnerability windows, not be changing them. A lot of people will plan their sieges. This sucks if that time is ripped out from under you if you want to attack somebody. And we don't want people mixing around their windows all the time to make it really difficult to plan sieges. The idea is that you should pick 6 hours per week that work for you and stick to those. And if you have to change one or occasionally because something comes up, that's the goal. So you won't be able to change anything within a certain amount of time currently, but you can change anything outside of that window. So if it's 4 or 5 days away, yeah, you can mess with it as often as you want. If you want to open it up and 10 seconds later change your mind, go. Let's see here. Do we have info for lore revamp system? I already talked about that to some degree. What if I try to change my volume before my current one starts? Yeah, we answered that one. You wouldn't be able to do so. Can we get our leaderboard rewards one day this millennium? Currently, there are no leaderboard rewards, but there will be. As a matter of fact, relics are very well tied into what leaderboard rewards. So keep an eye out for those. Those will probably be popping up at some point. We didn't mention them because it's still being fairly highly discussed. So it's not something that's concrete enough for us to say this is going to happen. So we didn't want to mention that. But it's does Heart of the Ocean attract Leviathan? Not that we.
let us because that we apologize ahead of time if that.
What about special mobs? Plans to develop was plan for a world boss actually.
I mean, if players have encountered, then so anyone actually has encountered a Leviathan.
Fire Festival of Archaeos. This sounds like a Hearthstone player because that's the name of the Hearthstone event. We'll probably pick a different name, but we do have planned out. Given the issues with mob spawns, polar bears, sharks, world bosses, plans to fix might be nice. Effect like restarting. Yeah, we're gonna focus on some mob issues here. One of the big problems that you guys may or may not be running into is that when mobs spawn, they can spawn X number of mobs around you, but that's not in a 2D space. This world is pretty, tall. All those tunnels underneath you, the mobs are spawning there too, and so it's not surprising that a majority of them are probably spawning underneath you and not next to you. We're actually probably going to change it so less mobs appear underground and more appear next to you specifically. But it might take a while. Again, we didn't mention it specifically because there's no concrete plans to do it. But we have known it's a problem, and we're going to do our best.
Just to throw this out there, because this is actually something I've seen mentioned before, specifically with sharks being bugged or players, not being able to find shark mobs in the world. If there is a bug that you guys are encountering, please, please, please post it to the bug section of the forums. If you guys mention this bug in the Discord, it is not guaranteed that we see it. So there are a lot of bugs that players mentioned in the public channel of the Discord that unfortunately just get swept up into the 1,000 messages that we are not aware of a bug guaranteed on the bug section of the forum. That is where we are 100% for sure.
By the way, if it's a game-breaking bug or a glitch, if it's a game-breaking bug or a glitch, and you think it's probably not worth telling other people about it, that's an okay time to PM one of us. We would definitely appreciate it not getting out to the world that there's some game-breaking bug. We hope that there aren't any that you need to message us about, but in case it comes up, message.
Yeah, but for example, mobs. I heard through the grapevine, not directly, that players haven't really encountered sharks, or there was a bug with shark mobs, or something was wrong with shark mobs in general. And I'm seeing it again here. I have yet to get an actual bug report of what that is. And I want to fix it. If there is a bug with that, I for sure want to address it, but I just don't know what that bug is. Because I've only kind of seen snippets of players being like, "Oh, sharks suck." So, like, if anyone can kind of just let us, if bugs exist, let us know. We 120% want, but we can't fix them if we don't know they exist.
All right, on to the next one. We're gonna keep going fast here. How long does it take for one nation to siege another, and then another siege to siege? So, you have a 1-hour window in which you are entirely unable to be attacked inside your nation. No one can steal from your chests or anything, or even hurt you, like inside your nation after a siege is over. It's called an exclusion zone, and your nation is very, very well protected from anybody at all raiding or sieging you during that time. So if you were to set all 6 of your vulnerability hours together, you would actually entirely erase some of them because you have an hour of exclusion time. And yes, to some degree, we are encouraging you guys not to have 6 different days with 1-hour vulnerability windows. We'd like to see people with 3 to 4 hours in one time. It's beneficial for you, and it makes it easier for people to plan attacks against you, and hopefully gets more people in. Next one. Resource pack, music, and when? Soon TM. Perfect answer. When do we get Fortuna's Blessing back? It might be a unique quest reward. I don't think there's any plans to bring it back, though.
The real question there is, when is Fortuna's Blessing getting mending back? The answer to that is we have her mending. Not if you have slash. Sorry, I'm also semi-reading the state of the server channel. For those of you questioning this, please report bugs on the website. There is a forum thing. There shouldn't be any slow mode or anything attached to it. But if you guys have bugs, report on the website. If you guys report, we can always create another channel in the Discord. It might be easier for you guys, but to be perfectly honest, Discord is not the easiest thing for us because we have 1,000 million things that we get pinged at every day. So if you guys ping us something that is important, it may be important, but it also gets drowned out.
Yeah.
However, if you post that bug on the website, we will 100% see it.
Yeah. In case anyone's curious, one of the reasons that elders are so overworked, we have 4 required meetings per week and 5 to 6 optional meetings per week, something crazy like that.
5.
We spend almost every day of the week, with some exceptions, in chats on the server. And that's with our real lives already going on. So we do really run out of time to see things, and we really do forget things, and we promise it's not on purpose, but there's just a lot of stuff going on.
But for players,
game built in Minecraft.
Yeah, but for players who, and I get this, Discord for a lot of players is the easiest way to communicate, and on some levels it is the easiest way for us to communicate. But as far as addressing player concerns, we have over 600 people in our Discord right now. Obviously, not all of them are active. That would be awesome. But we get so many pings that it sort of gets drowned out, even the important stuff sometimes. And so, the more we can sort of relegate away from the Discord, the more easier it comes to our attention. So just to throw that out there to you guys, we appreciate you guys reporting bugs and things in any possible way that you can. Just know that things that are reported on the forums as opposed to the Discord will reach us faster.
Yeah. All right, on to the next one here. We got to go fast. We're almost there. How does betraying your allies in the siege work with treaties? It's as simple as setting them to hostile and then attacking them. Yeah, it's that simple. Like that system works that way for a reason. So if you are allied with someone, you set them to hostile, and then you go attack them, the system will figure it out, and it'll work fairly well. Your guards might be confused, but well, that's the price you pay for being a traitor's bastard. Is it okay? Is it one of each type of relic or multiple? There is one of each type of relic. That's actually a good question. Yeah, all relics are unique. There's only one of each type. I didn't mention this, but because it's related to one of each type, or one, you can only have one relic per town. Now, this means that if you guys want to have multiple relic powers, which is entirely possible, you have to have multiple very defendable towns. And we want to see you guys building multiple defendable towns. I think that is a great way to encourage you guys to have a good building project. A lot of building on the server is like, well, we have one defendable town, why would we build a second one? Well, now you got a reason, because you can get a powerful relic to store inside. All right, next one. Will there ever be a PvPer on the dev team to help with combat balance? So, while we would love to have a dedicated PvPer on the dev team, there's already a lot of voices on the dev team, and it can be very tough to balance when there's too many voices. So, we have requirements for the dev team that say you must have a very specific skill that allows you to add to the dev team that didn't already exist. And while PvP expertise is something that's very, very real, it doesn't add the kind of stuff to the dev team that we need. Now, it's important, and we will ask for opinions from combat experts and people who know combat well, but that's in and of itself is not enough of a qualification to join the team. We need you guys to have some super applicable skills. What's up?
I said, plus I already main PvP. So.
When is the next tournament?
Just to clarify there, because I know I was like, oh, we're all shitty. You know, the elders may not be the best at PvP. We have, of course, you know,
patrons are the first people we talk to for balance.
There are, of course, devs. Yeah, there are, of course, devs that are good at PvP that we approach and deal with balancing things. This is not a situation where, you know, we may not be god PvPers, but we also, you know, take into consideration actual people who, you know PvP in and out on Minecraft. You know, we'll never balance something based on, like, we've never tested it with people who PvP. You know, PvP is something that, you know, people who were involved in it get very involved in it. But the other aspect of it is there are players who are more casual, who get involved in these systems. And this was one of the tenets of Atlas, you know, when we sort of created the server, was we want to make a server where all play styles are encouraged. And something, unfortunately, that exists with a lot of PvP servers is that players who are involved in PvP because the server is PvP related are real assholes to everyone. And because that's the only way to be good at that server. And that's one of the things we wanted to focus on. And so, while of course we understand the nuances of PvP, we will always test them to the ends of the earth. We also want our PvP to be something that is accessible for players who are not necessarily god PvPers. Because, you know, PvP in this game is fun for people who don't watch YouTube videos and who don't make incredibly intricate math equations, believe it or not. Like, there is a fighting system that exists in this game that Mojang unfortunately has failed to balance. But that we hopefully, you know, will find a way for players who are not only like the best who ever lived at killing other players, but also players who are like, hey, I have sort of fun playing this, can get involved and actually, you know, feel like they're having fun at the game as opposed to just being absolutely trounced by the, you know, 6-7 people who have figured out how to be PvP gods.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and so on to the next one here. When is the next tournament? Check announcements. It has not been discussed yet, but it's not hard for us to set up. If a whole bunch of people want that, then yeah, just go make like a little like poll, and you guys can all fill it out and convince us that there's like 40 people who want to do it, and we'll make another one. But it's tough, but we're willing to do it if everyone seriously wants to do it. Otherwise, it might be a little bit. We might want to wait for after the building tournament or something. What will happen to mule pets after they're removed? Okay, this is going to appear in the updates later tonight. Mule pets are getting entirely removed. Your mule pet will be replaced with some other random skill tree, or you can remove it to go get another one. We will actually be adding an entirely new skill for pets because we're removing mule. So look forward to that. It's small, but yeah, mules will not be coming back. The people who make this plugin, My Pets is a third-party plugin. They're good guys, but they just do not do inventories well. So we're getting rid of mule pets because they are not worth the trouble that they cause. So yeah. All right, on to the next one. This is the final question on here. I don't know if we've been looking at questions recently in the chat, but how much prep time is the nation given after a siege is declared? 45 minutes. And actually, this is a good question because it's a point that I need to bring up. This is going to be somewhat confusing, and I apologize if it is. But so let's say since there's a 40-minute time between the declaration of a siege and the start of it, this means that I can go declare a siege on you 45 minutes before your window for a siege actually starts. And that might sound a little weird, but think of it this way. The only time when they can actually siege you is during that time where the siege is actually started. So there's 45 minutes leading up to it, they can't. So the goal here is to say, like, if you're saying I'm available during this time, we don't want to say I'm available for somebody to declare a siege, then an hour or 45 minutes after that point, then I'm available to fight a siege. We want that hour to say that's when we want to fight. So you can declare siege up to 45 minutes before a siege starts. I know that's a little bit confusing, and we may end up changing that in the future to be less confusing, but just, yeah. If you guys want to siege somebody, show up early. Place your war camp early, and so you can get your siege in. Once your siege is declared, by the way, and everything works, even if the siege does somehow manage to last a little bit beyond the vulnerability window, that's okay. You just have to declare it within the proper time. All right, so that is all the questions on here. We are super out of time. We're going to take 5 personal questions now, or meme questions as we've called them. So ask your meme questions, and we can answer them. I apologize if we ran out of time. You can ask us more. What's for dinner, and where's the dog pick? I had In-N-Out for dinner because I didn't have any time to cook because we were working on sieges. Dog pick. Let's go find one. I got 2. Let's see. What's the best? I think this one's the coolest.
I want to see Macus ask a question here.
This is Ivan. Everyone say hi to Ivan.
Oh. Oh.
Ivan is a gorgeous dog, and he's looking at me right now because I'm calling his name. Yes.
Who's better, me or Fed?
I don't know.
Brothels.
Brothels when? As always, next update.
Wait, we already have
exactly.
a brothel. What are you talking about?
Server. Check in.
Talaria has a
Is
brothel.
Atlas your girlfriend, boyfriend? I bet my girlfriend thinks so.
Yeah.
Usable brothels. Oh, God.
Nation-based fast travel. That's a real question, and it's coming eventually. TM.
Yeah, I think we answered that. But yes.
All right, I think we've got two more personal questions, and then we're gonna call it a day. We'll close it out, and we'll announce that final relic that hopefully will blow your minds. Hopefully it's better than I thought. It's as good as I thought it was. Otherwise, I'll be sad. But that's life.
Why is T so cute? Just because that's who T is.
I don't even understand this question. Like,
No, he's my TV.
He keeps coming up, and I'm just like, why?
Because that's what the people want to know, man.
T, I will steal you from Jed. So help me.
You guys were skipping ahead. The question I'm looking at is T hot? To which the answer is so hot you guys don't even know.
I mean, unless iced tea, but like, eh.
Alright,
God
one more
dead.
good one. Give us one more good one, guys. These questions are not very great. I'm kind of disappointed.
Jed's gonna fight us.
Greatest
bug recently. I like that one. All right. What has been the greatest bug recently? That's actually.
Oh wait,
I
there
mean,
was
we
a
can-
fun bug. Wait, I think I missed this one. 'cause
Oh,
my phone
there
died,
is
but
one.
There was a great relics bug where you couldn't drop relics once you picked them up, so they were just permanently fused to your head, and that was just who you were. That was a good one.
There,
That's
I,
your
di-
life,
I
man.
actually can do all of you one better. I was testing out the Vanish plugin earlier today, and I made myself disappear for everybody, and everybody else was disappeared for me too. So like, I couldn't see anybody on the server, and they couldn't see me. It felt like I was alone, even though I knew for a fact there was at least 4 other people on the server with me. So
You can't see
yeah.
me if I can't see you.
Best bugs of all time, though. I want to bring up one of my favorites. This one's courtesy of Jed. There was a time that Jedoy managed to break the development server with a chicken.
A flying
An
chicken.
enchanted chicken. A flying enchanted chicken. As a matter of fact, when the bug came up, I'm like, I don't know what's corrupting this chunk. Do the words chicken, enchantment, and flying mean anything to anyone? And Jed's like, maybe. And that's how we found out about the flying chicken bug, and that's why this little nugget exists. Where is that bastard?
If anyone's wondering, that's why chickens can't enter
Yeah,
boats anymore.
this is the meme that came out of that.
I wouldn't exactly call it a bug, but more a feature that I made. That anytime that tier logs on you, he gets an acacia boat in
Okay,
his inventory.
this is still a thing. This is still a thing.
Feature of our server.
Look, I sent you the fix multiple times, and you never uploaded it, so that's on you.
Okay, you better send that to me again. I am fixing that tonight. I am tired of logging on with acacia boats in my inventory.
If anybody wants an acacia boat when you log in, just send T a message. He can make it happen.
Here, I'm gonna make the vendor that only you can access that buys acacia boats, but for only 1 gem.
You
All
know
right,
what?
everybody.
I will take that.
We're going to go ahead and call it a night for State of the Server, but before we do, I will announce the last relic, and hopefully this will be fun. This one is called the Mystic Lock. This Shen artifact protects your nation's chest from raiders, but also prevents your nation members from being able to raid chests themselves. Ooh, that's spicy.
Bum, bum, bum.
So think about that relic for a little bit, and while you're thinking about it, we'll go ahead and close out here.
Alright, and
Well-
with that, we're gonna call it a day, right? Because
Yeah,
I
well,
am going to go get dinner.
Yeah.
And I will be back in call with the other elders within an hour.
God, yeah. Because
Yeah.
we still need to get
We're
everything
probably-
extra released. I'll
Yup.
release the update here probably in a sec. We'll release everything we've been talking about. But thank you everyone for being here. I say it every time, and I mean it every time. Like, this event would mean nothing if there were just the elders in chat. You guys make this fun. The fact that you guys enjoy being here, enjoy hearing about what's happening on the server. This is why we do it. It's so much
Yeah.
fun to have an entire community that cares about the server and wants to see it move forward, wants to see things just get cooler and cooler. So thank you for all for showing up to this, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow, whether or not you're competing or not. But yeah, this is so much fun. We're having a great time developing the server for you guys, and we hope that you're having as much fun playing as we are developing. So with that, I want to bid you guys all a good night. Go get a good night's sleep, and join us tomorrow for the launch of Sieges.
Yeah.
And yeah, with that, I will see you all tomorrow. You guys are welcome to go join room 1, 2, 3, or your own chats and talk to each other. But for us elders, it is go time to actually update the server with all this new siege code and added stuff we need to. And so, yeah.
Yep.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night,
All right.
everyone.
Alrighty, guys.
Adios.